Welcome back to Compai's Expat channel, Everything Expat. This is episode 3 of my conversation with Matteo.
It's a challenge. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even just, painting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's getting good quality paint.
Absolutely.
Is tough.
I agree. There are some things that you have absolutely taken for granted back home, and until you get into the predicament where you need it, you're like, wow, I had no idea that this was such a thing.
We see a lot of people come down
Mm-hmm.
and try to start a business. The first thing people really try to do is a restaurant bar.
Yeah.
And I did a little video about starting businesses overseas. And one of the things I said about the bar restaurant is, if you don't know how to cook and you can't tell your cook you're out of here and you jump in that line,
Yep.
you're behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
If you've never been a bar business, don't do a bar.
Yeah. That's exactly right. I mean, like in North America, and I think the bar industry, the restaurant, it's a romantic business from the outside. And then when you get involved in it, you start to realize it's a lot of work. There's always this happening, that happening, a problem with this or that. Like you said, I've had it where my Saturday night cook said, I'm going home, I don't feel well. And now what am I going to do? So I've had those happen. You have to try to be prepared somehow. Again, I have a good staff. I can make a call and I can get some staffing in to help me. But that took a while to get to, So if you're new at doing it, as you say, unless you can get behind there and sling some hash, you're going to be in trouble.
Thank you for watching Compai's Expat channel. Today we had conversations with Matteo, owner of Matteo's Seaside Pub. Matteo is selling his restaurant. If you're interested, want any information, please check the description down below. This video was sponsored by Casa de Compai, your condo complex for your vacation rental. Matteo's Seaside Pub, located downtown Sosua on Pedro Calasante. Great place to grab a meal, play trivia, watch some sports, spend time with your friends. No, because when I was a kid, my parents had a pizzeria.
Sure.
And we lived above it. I remember coming home from school. I'm talking 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
Get on the grill, make them cheesesteaks.
Yep.
Go clean them dishes, bust them. I mean, that was just...
Absolutely. My dad owned a little restaurant, a little diner, a historic diner in Lowell, Mass. And every Saturday, Sunday, I knew where I was going in the morning. He'd be waking me up at 5 in the morning to go in, and I fought him all the way. And I still bought a couple of restaurants later.
Yeah, it's a labor of love.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it can be a fun industry. I mean, I have to say, I remember when I was coming down here, it was maybe, I would say about, 10 years between owning a bar down there in the States and then buying one here. And I kind of forgot all of, I was thinking, how am I going to run a restaurant in a foreign country, get back into that mindset. What I didn't realize was I met so many great people down here, and my advice to anyone, or the one thing that you will notice, I think, if you should move to a foreign country, and particularly we're in a great expat spot,
Yes.
You will meet a lot of great people. And that makes it for me, I mean, I think, you'll see in my place, I have a lot of the same people come back and forth, and they've all become, many of them, very good friends. So that's been a huge plus, a big bonus for doing something like this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's everything. It goes back to what we were saying earlier. Everything is relationship based.
It absolutely is down here.
And that's,
Yep.
And I've also noticed, give me your opinion on this, is that the Canadians go to the Canadian bars. The Germans go to the German bars.
Mm-hmm.
Every nationality has their place they go and hang out at.
Correct.
So,
yeah, they have their niche spots,
Mm-hmm.
And mine tries to be for everyone, but I'll admit it's a lot of Americans, a football crowd, and all of that. So,
but it's you have to be more than that.
You have to.
That. Otherwise, you won't make it.
No. I've always said this way when people have asked me about it down here. One of the difficult things that a lot of people don't realize when you come to open a business in a foreign country, the locals, the natives of the country, are not your customer base. So think about that. If you're in the U.S. and the locals are not your customer base, here that's the fact. They don't have the money to afford those types of things.
Not only you're not your customer base, they're your adversary.
Oh yeah.
They don't want, and a lot of locals don't want to see, and it's not just here in the Dominican Republic.
No.
They don't want to see the expat
Yeah.
do better than they are.
Yeah.
They resent success.
I saw it firsthand. There was a small little Dominican restaurant literally next door to me, and they did everything they could to drive away my customer base, putting a grill out, smoking out my restaurant, loud music, violence, all kinds of things.
This was on Pedro.
This was on Pedro, right next door to me, and it's kind of funny how it worked out. I yelled at the guy more than once, as you can imagine, and he took me to the fiscal down here, and for verbal aggression. I completely flipped him on him with pictures of all the smoke in my restaurant. I had a 40 people petition signed complaining about it. It completely flipped on them. The grill was gone. They sent food inspectors to their restaurant. So that doesn't happen often. But I think he thought that because he was Dominican and I was American, he would win out. But I can say that the fiscal looked at it rationally and did the right thing.
It's funny. I had a similar situation as well. I had two villas next to Casa de Compai. They just rent to anybody.
Yeah.
And the level of music was just out of control. So I contacted them on Airbnb, because you can file complaints on Airbnb. If you go to the bottom of the page, there's a customer community resource center, I believe it is. And if you get the listing of that Airbnb property through that listing, you can able to put a complaint in. So I knew the listing, so I sent the lady, said, hey, can you please have your clients keep it down? I got people working online, da da da. And they didn't care. So I took them to the Fiscalia.
Mm-hmm.
Then 3 days later, they never showed. 3 days later, I get notice that I have to go to court in Puerto Plata.
Wow.
So they went from one level and they upped it.
I see.
So they said, you know what, we're not going to do the little mediation Fiscalia. And then basically what they said was that I was using the legal system to benefit my business. And my lawyer did the same thing. Listen, you're being loud. He's wrote you many times asking you to do it.
There is a noise ordinance, by the way.
And there's a really good noise ordinance
that they don't pay attention to, but it's here.
Thank you for watching this episode of Compai's Expat channel. Please like and subscribe.